The main focus of my research is really about how aquatic environments change through time, largely due to the activities that humans are inflicting on the environment. Within that, my specific focus is really on water quality and how that relates to the growth of algae, cyanobacteria, and algal blooms. In the prairies, where we're working largely now in western Manitoba, we're focused a lot on the intersection of land use and climate change and how those two factors interact to create lake environments that we have never seen before, or are pushing environments into conditions that are unexpected. And this is only becoming more interesting and more challenging as we're also on the front line of the zebra mussel invasion. So this research is important, I think, really on two fronts, because one is the environmental aspect, right? Canada has a lot of the world's fresh water, and in that, I feel that we have like a responsibility of stewardship. So when our freshwater resources are not being maintained properly, or there are these unexpected consequences, it's important to understand scientifically why those changes are occurring and what we can do to conserve our freshwaters and how to mitigate those negative effects. On the human aspect, water is incredibly important. On your hierarchy of needs, you can argue it's the most fundamental. Everyone needs water to live. Everyone needs water to do everything. So having those access to water and having good quality water that people are able to use for those purposes is really important. I'm from rural Manitoba. Where I grew up, if you drove under 30 minutes in 3 directions, you would run into a giant lake. So I was surrounded by water my whole life. We had a cottage. And then I was also really interested in the outdoors and like big picture, like how the environment changed really through time. So like I was a dinosaur kid as well. So through my training, I did like ecology and evolution, earth science, and then I found a lab during my PhD that allowed me to connect that training using lake environments. And it was kind of this like eureka moment in which I suddenly remembered that I really liked lakes and water and I could use my science to study them. And then I've never left freshwater since. My program is field-based, and that means we spend a lot of time in rural and semi-remote locations. We work a lot with really great people, but you're taking students out into an environment which may not necessarily be familiar. It's pretty well known, I think, that like rural and outdoor spaces have not always been the most welcoming and safe for queer people, especially those who are trans or non-binary. So one of the things that I would like to do with my position is to create a series of best practices for making fieldwork safe for people of all identities, because those types of issues that can come up in fieldwork can be as simple as making sure everyone has correct bathroom access, to more as complex as how are medications stored, or what kind of like overall aesthetic appearance that they're going to have. Is that going to make them safe or at risk in certain areas where we're going to be working? Lots of health and safety programs exist for work on campus itself. We have, lab safety, we have all kinds of stuff. Fieldwork kind of slips through the cracks. So I would like to work on getting that type of safety protocols. Fresh water is for everyone, and anyone who would be interested in it should feel safe to go out and do that work. There's very much like a rural-urban pipeline, especially for maybe people who are from smaller communities, whom they might be the only gay or queer or trans person that they know, and they would just go to a city to find that community. When I was growing up, there was like very little overlap of like the outdoorsy field type of based things and then more of the LGBTQ side community. That's being changed now, largely by like the work of marginalized groups in science. Because of intersectionality, it's important for me to say that like as the full gamut of experiences go, I've been pretty lucky. I've not faced a lot of direct hardship, mostly because I'm white and I'm male and straight passing. But what that means is also I've heard a lot of things, not necessarily in like the science community, but just growing up, people can mask off when they think they're safe to be bigoted. There's always the low-hanging fruit, right? One for me is talking about it in like openly when we are talking about hiring students, that like I'm a member of the community. I have, no tolerance policies of that kind of like bigotry in the lab. Everyone is going to be safe and respectful to everyone. And then it's lots of like little like markers of that identity, stickers on the door or my flag and the flowers there. And then talking in lecture, try to highlight the work of other people who are part of the community to do that. And then just be open in conversations with people. I would say like you could start taking risks earlier. So I think if I was more confident in myself, I could have gone out to somewhere further afield and tried to find opportunities that were less guaranteed. And I really learned that through grad school and postdocing, to take the risk and follow your passion and what you think the research is taking you on. But having that confidence at the start would have been ideal. One of the things that I've learned a lot about myself, and then also working with really excellent researchers and students throughout the last 10 years that I've been doing science, is that I think in general people are more capable than what they give themselves credit for. So like it's okay to push yourself out into unfamiliar experiences, especially if you can surround yourself with people who are going to support you.